polymerization. You know what we do, guys? We got great deck profile for you, man. Danger Gren Maju, man. This deck is ridiculous. People have stopped playing this deck, man, because they think just because Master Five or Desert, whatever you want to call it. You know, it's not as good at breaking boards. And going second, this card and deck just wrecks everything. And you can make Gren Maju like huge, like Big Daddy huge. This card can be ridiculous. I mean, I'm like obliterate Shadow Realm, you gone. But you know, he's not throwing win condition. You know, let's talk about everything else that deck, guys. Yeah. Alright, everybody, let's get in that deck profile. I'm going to explain everything I do in here and why this deck is so good at everything now. So, going first, more anything, you know, the theme of the deck, more anything, you're going to run 3 Gren Majus. I mean, he's not your main win condition, but when you do get him so big, I mean, it's just fun to do. It's just ridiculous what this card can do and how big he can get. It just makes the deck more fun than anything. Next card we're going to talk about is Gizmek Orochi. This card right here is not only just because you can banish 8 cards, make your Manjus bigger, but for the fact that he's a level 8 and he recurs himself from the graveyard or hand, either way, best way. But the level 8 part is probably the best part, and that he's dark. There's a lot of synergy with him, and it just makes things so much better. Now we're going to the Danger Package. The Danger Package is pretty big because it is Danger Maju. You're going to run 3 Danger Thunderbirds. Thunderbird is in here because, once again, it is a level 8. And when it ever gets discarded and hits the grave, it gets pop any face-down card on the field. Whether it be problematic with the monster or anything on the back row you just want to try to get through, just in case they have something you're not feel safe about. And then if you worry about face-up cards, we run 3 of the Danger Bigfoots. Bigfoot is in here once again, level 8, and if it's discarded, you can pop any face-up card on the field. So you can actually like do some crazy things here. If you can actually do with like trade-ins I have in here, that you can actually discard it, pop Mystic Mine, all kinds of crazy stuff. Then we're going to run 2 Danger Ogopogos. Ogopogo is unique in its own way, but the best part is it is level 8, so getting on the field is really great and you get that draw power. The unique thing is whenever he goes to grave, you get to send any danger card from your deck to the graveyard. So that makes it really good in different ways. 2 different ways, actually, to be exact. One of which is actually because we run 2 Danger Chupacabras. Chupacabra, because if this card ever goes to grave, you get special summon any level 8. I mean, not level 8, sorry. Any danger monster from your grave to the field. And most of the time you go for your level 8s because you can go in your rank plays more than anything. And of course, we're going to play the 1 Tsukinoko, the 1 Nessie, and then the 1 Jackalope because we have to. They're at 1 for a reason. A lot of people couldn't figure out why Nessie got hit. I think Nessie got hit because of this deck in general. You know, because it was kind of ridiculous how many tops was getting in regionals and stuff. Or like, you know, we had the whole virus scenario go around with the camera. But I think that is the main reason. But that is your whole entire Danger engine. Now let's go into the next card. I think is a really good problematic card for a lot of people is Eater of Millions. This card right here will actually make your opponent rethink how they play their game. Because for one, it can't super poly this card. This card cannot be used for a XZ, a Fusion, a Synchro, cannot be tributed. This card right here is ridiculous in so many ways. One thing I love about this card is that, you know, it makes it where, granted, you get to banish 5 cards from your hand or your extra deck to make your Maju bigger. But the best part is, I think more than anything, is just be able to get over problematic monsters that can't be destroyed by battle or card effect. So this just lets you banish a monster, get rid of that problematic issue more than anything. And he's a dark, so that comes in handy as well for another card we'll talk about later. Granted, this is the going second variant. I run 3 Gamma Seals because, once again, it is a level 8. And the best thing about going second, if they have something on the field that is problematic to you, you just give them a Kaiju, you know, Gamma Seal, most does what all you run. And it helps you in so many ways. There's another card you can do some busted stuff with, Gamma Seal, that's unique in its own ways. I'll talk about that later too when I get to it. Now we get into the hand traps. The only hand traps I run more than anything in here is the best one, I think, is Dimension Shifter. If you watch my Thunder Dragon deck profile, I talk about how good this card is in general. Everything relies on the graveyard. And with your dangers, you don't really need your graveyard. Besides, like, you know, Gizmakurochi, because when your dangers hit graveyard or banish zone, they still resolve. The only ones you gotta worry about is when you have this an effect or your stuff gets banished, is with Chupacabra, because Chupacabra revives from the graveyard, and Ogopogo because Ogopogo sends it to graveyard, which in case it would be banished. So those are only 2 cards that you run into, and you're just like, dang, I didn't want that to, happen with Thunder Shifter. So be wary of that. And then the last hand trapper one is 3 infinite permanences, mostly because, you can't call by the grave it. That's really important more than anything. And the fact that, even if you don't use it during your opponent's turn, you can use it on your turn. So that way you can, turn something's effects off. So that's really good. That's the only hand traps I run. Now let's get into the draw power of the deck. There's a lot of draw cards in this deck. The one card I think is really amazing is Danger Response 10. This card is unique in so many ways. And you really only need one. You don't really need more than that. So what you do with this card is, if you have a danger on field, a danger on the field, you get to return that danger to your hand and any monster on the field back to your hand. So what's unique about this is, if you have a Kaiju in hand, you can Kaiju your opponent, put a danger on the field using your normal summon, because you really need your normal summon. Summon, like, say, Chupacabra, Snake, or, Jackalope, whatever. Then you can return the Kaiju back to your hand and your own danger, and guess what? You can Kaiju your opponent a second time, because they have no longer control of that Kaiju, so you can do it again. So this card's really good. Another thing I like about this card is, this is where you use Ogopogo. You can use Ogopogo's effect to send this to grave. And then what you get to do is, you actually get to put this card, activate it, put it back on the bottom of your deck by discarding a danger monster, and then you get to draw a card. So you get to put this back in your deck, recycle it, draw a card, and then whatever danger you discarded off of that is whatever the scenario is, you plus off that in so many ways. So I think that's really good. One's good enough. That's all you need to see. Once again, I was talking about it earlier with all the level 8s. We run 3 trade-ins. Trade-in's really good more than anything, because you're going to get what you need no matter what. You're always going to see it. It's rare this deck ever bricks. I mean, it's very consistent. It's very reliable. You're more likely to deck out and lose the game that way than by life points in so many ways. So this deck is ridiculously fun in so many ways because of that. Another card that we run out of, you that hate it or you love it, is 3 Paw Desires. You run 3 Paw Desires because, for one Paw Desires makes Grand Maju 4,000 automatically right there. Another thing that's great about this card is that, you're always going to get pluses off of it no matter what you do. Plus, your opponent ashes anything, you want to try to, like, say if you have a trade-in in hand, you can do that first and then the pot. That way you're not, losing resources and it's doing better. Granted, it does suck, when you activate Paw Desires and you draw Paw Desires. That's happened to everybody that's ever played this card, and it's just part of that, part of Yu-Gi-Oh, man. That's just happened. And then the last card we're going to talk about is Lure of Darkness. This is another good card if you want to bait out the ash before you do your Paw Desires. Another thing great about this deck is everything is majority is dark. And the only thing that's not dark is your Grand Majus and your Gamuses. That's the only thing. Everything else is dark. Even like, Dimension Shifter late in game, you can allure the shifter in your hand. That way you have so much more resources to work with. That is the main deck, everybody. Let's go ahead and get into the extra deck. The extra deck is somewhat tight. You can flex it around a little bit. I would say all the XZs you wanted to keep no matter what, even with the spice I got with, and then we'll go into the rest of it. The one card I really want to mention, the MVP for me, is number 23, Lancelot. This card right here, I believe, I use more than anything. Because, for one, if you're worried about Nibiru and you have like a bunch of 8s on board, for your 5th summon, go into Lancelot, because Lancelot negates the very first effect during that turn. So, and it's mandatory. You can't say no. Yes, it's a mandatory effect. So if they try to Nibiru you on your 5th summon and you just negate it with this. I mean, it's mandatory. It negates it. It's done. Nothing to worry about. Another thing great about Lancelot is if you're stuck in going in time and you're not going to get your opponent real good, you can go into this, and even if your opponent has monster on the board, you can actually attack your opponent directly, and they take 2,000 while he has a material, which is 2,000 attack, and that's a lot of damage. Then if he just hits you with damage while he has a material, he can actually pop any face-up card on the field, any monster I mean. So that's always really good. It gets rid of a lot of stuff. Next one I want to talk about is Dingirsu. Dingirsu, he's a lot cheaper now. He's not too bad. Just to help you, send stuff away. And if you want to feel like you really need to protect your board from stuff like, say, Lightning Storm or anything else that's going to pop and destroy stuff, you can just put this on field just to protect stuff, so it's really good. Another card that's great rank 8 is number 68, the Sky Prison. This card is really good if you're going against matchups that really rely on special summon from the graveyard more than anything. So when you put this on board more than anything, it keeps your opponent, it stalls them out. They can't special summon from the graveyard, especially if you're going first. If you're stuck going first, you can make this. Another thing great about it is for every monster in grave, he gains 100 attack and defense. So he can get kind of beefy sometimes. So he's actually pretty good. Remember, though, if you lock yourself down, it's until the end of the next turn. So if you have Gizmak in your graveyard, you can't special summon Gizmak until the very next turn of your turn, because you have to wait till the end of the next turn while this is on resolve. Let's go into this new Spicy deck. I think is really good. It's number 97. It's just, I don't know how to explain this card. This card is ridiculous. Your opponent cannot target this card for one, which is amazing. So you can't impermanent, and they can't effect barrel this no matter what they want to do. So the best part about this card is when you summon it, you can detach one material from this card and special summon either from your graveyard or your extra deck 2 number dragons, while special summon one and use the other one as material. So the best part is like for one dragon I use is number 38, Hope Harbinger. This card right here is really good because it stops spell more than anything, and then if your opponent has to attack, they have to attack this card more than anything. And then the spice of the deck that makes it this even better is number 92, guys. Yes, the Heart of Dragon. And yes, I am flexing. This is an ulti. It's so pretty. Look at that. So for those that don't know this card says right here, cannot be destroyed by battle. And any battle damage that you would take, your opponent takes instead. Then, if this card is ever destroyed while it has a material, it comes back the very next turn, on your next turn, and it gains 1,000 attack for every current banished card on you that's on the field. That means yours or your opponent's. So let's say, you go into 97, and you activate its effect, and you want to special summon this to the field, number 92. Hope Harbinger becomes its material. So you got this card can't be targeted, and then you got this card that can't be destroyed by battle. And if it's destroyed by punch card, let's say Yuri Pod Desires, this come back as 10,000 right there. This card is ridiculous in so many ways. Your L, and it's just stupid. Plus, here's the best part I love about this card more than anything too I want to speak about. During your opponent's end phase, you can actually detach a material from this card, and it's a you can, so I'm member, you can choose. You can detach one card from this, one material from this card, banish your opponent's entire field. That's ridiculous. So if you go first and you're going against, say, back row, say it's just all trap based, you can literally, during their end phase, activate this, banish their field. They have nothing to do. They cannot activate their traps because you just banish their field. This card is ridiculous in so many ways, and I think this is probably the newest edition. I think will make Gren Maju even better. That's all the XZs. I'm going to get into the links more than anything. One link I want to talk about is Relinquish Anima. This card's really good when you go with Eater of Millions. The best part about it is Eater of Millions, it says you can do all, you can't do nothing like Synchro, XZ, Fusion, all that stuff, Tribute. But it doesn't say anything about link. So you can link Eater of Millions away and make this. And if your opponent doesn't realize on where they place their monster, you just go Anima and equip it, and you gain that monster's attack. So that's actually another way you can problematically get around your opponent much easier. Another card that's really good in here is we do It Masquerena. And if you haven't noticed by now, this ain't really a budget build whatsoever. But this helps you link climb into higher things and protects it from getting destroyed by card effects. One card I have not in here is Pentastag. It's I don't know where it's at, but I'll find it. I'm gonna have a picture if you're going to. But you hit Pentastag for the most part because when your opponent has a lot of defenses on the board and you can't break it, Pentastag helps you go into whatever monsters under its link arrow. It lets you do piercing battle damage. So if they put something defense and you got Gren Maju that's really crazy big, use one right there because Pentastag just pretty much just helped you win that one. And threes, we got Nightmare Unicorn, you know, because you can just discard, which pluses with your dangerous in many ways, plus with Ip, you can do it during your opponent's turn. So this card's really good for doing that. We also do Blackluster Soldier of Chaos. It's not hard to make him where he can't be targeted or stored by card effects, and a lot of decks can't get out this because he cannot be targeted. So this card's really good. It's not. You got so many things like level 8s that, you know, it's easy to do it, make them that way. And the Link 4 we have right here is the Boreal Dragon. Boreal, because you can OTK. It's not really used that much often. I would say you could go into it if you've already, like, you know, cleared the board pretty easy and you ain't got to worry about nothing, you know, stopping you from OTKing. So this comes up sometimes. I wouldn't say too much. And nothing I do in the extra is I run the Topological package. So I have Topological Trispania. This card's really good against for back row. So you can actually go during your opponent's turn, you know, use Gizmac in Graveyard or something. If they have like a whole back row cards, you can actually go special summon something to the Link Arrow, banish that monster, and then every spell and trap card on the field, and your opponent burns for 500 for every single card that was banished. So that's really good for that. Another card, Topological Bomber Dragon. This card's really good if your opponent is still somewhat relying on the Link Arrows, or if they're really relying on their main monster zone. Same thing with Topological. You can just put Bomber on the field, and then you can special summon, like, say, Gizmac Orochi from Graveyard, special summon Link Arrow, and just blow your opponent's whole entire, like, main monster zone. So then they have a problem, like, they just lose so many resources if you can time it just right. And another card I think is another good win condition here, because you banish so much, is Topological Zeroboros. This card right here is stupid in so many ways. I love this card because it's just like Gren Maju. He's a win condition. He gets like a big boost for every banish card, not just yours, both yours and your opponent. And then if he's ever like a monster special summon to a Link Arrow that he points to, or I think it's any Link Arrow if I'm not mistaken, but it banishes the whole entire field by his own effect. And then during your next standby phase, not your opponent's, yours, he comes back to the field, and he's even bigger, which is ridiculous, and he's so problematic. That is the extra deck. Now, I'm going to talk about the side deck, because the side deck is very crucial in how you play the game with this deck. Now, granted, I got back row removal and spell and trap removal. I play 3 Cosmic Cyclones because Mystic Mine is always going to be a thing until Mystic Mine is completely either banned or something happens to it. I will always play Cosmic Cyclone because Twin Twisters don't do nothing, and that Field Barrier is a pain in the rear end. And then another hand trap card we run that's actually helps back row is Typhoon. This card is not only good against spells and traps and you know, field spells, stuff like that. This is actually good against the pendulum matchups as well, because if you can time it just right in their scales, you can pop their scales, and then they pretty much just almost lose. Like, most times, I wait till my opponent gets to, like, you know, with the ones with the counters, they get the 3 on, I can't remember the girl's name. That's when I'll hit that, and then next thing you know, they just pretty much pass because they lost so much resources building up those counters. So this card's really good. Best player card is if you have Power Mag back row cards that, you know, on your turn 1, they activate something, you can just Typhoon it, get rid of it, no big deal. Now, another thing I want to talk about in this deck and anything, you don't rely on your normal summons that much. So I think this is a good spice card for a lot of people that go into combo. Instead of doing the Miru and you're stuck going first, I think 3 Vanity Sphinx, this card will win you games more than anything. Unless they have something to out it, whether it be like a Mind Control, Lightning Storm, something that's going to destroy this guy. Your opponent cannot special summon monsters, and that's pretty much a win for most cases. I mean, you can just put a danger on the board, then just tribute it that danger away, put Vanity Sphinx in the field, and then you can just pass turn. Most time your opponent just loses right there, unless they play, I don't know, something that doesn't let them special, like a tribute deck. That's the only thing you're really going to have a problem with. Now, the next card I want to talk about, I think, is really good, but you got to be kind of careful how you do it, is There Come Only One. This is great for going first, because most time your opponents always, or just majority of the meta now, you know, like the rocks with the adamant mastitators, they're just all rocks. So you put this on the board, they can't play. Unless they got a back row move board, they just can't do nothing. Once they get that one monster on the board, it's over. Even like anything, it's like, you go Salmon-Grates, that's a Cyburst. You go into the Orcus, that's a machine that you put one on them, that's it. Games can actually make this a going first build instead of going second build. So you can actually swap this out and decide how you want. But the best part about deck lockdown I like is it only lasts for 2 of your standby phases. So the best part is neither you or your opponent can add cards from deck to hand except by drawing, which majority of your whole deck is just more or less just drawing. Draw. The only card that really special summons itself from the deck would be like Nessie, because it adds a card from your deck to the hand, and then Jackalope because it special summons a monster from the deck. That's the only 2 cards you're going to have a problem with, but everything else in your deck is always going to be draw card. That's all it is. And then the best part about it is too, your opponent cannot, neither player can't special summon from the main deck. There's a lot of decks out there that gotta have that special summon from the main deck, whether it be like Heroes for Malicious, Burning Abyss, anything that special summons from the main deck, man, this hurts them so bad. So you could actually make this a going first deck if you really wanted to, but I think going second is better because you know what your matchup is, and then you can actually decide how to side during game 2, game 3. Now, that is everything in the deck, guys. I hope you like everything. Don't really know how I can show the test hands on this, but I think y'all should just try this online. Try everything you got, and if anything, guys, I want to thank you all for the support and everything you do. But you know what? This is Polymerization, guys. Peace.